What's up, everybody? It's your boy Hendrix. It's Wednesday night. It's the first week of August, and MTG is back for season 5. Look at that. This is the 5th season, y'all. Now, we take our normal break in July and then in December. Y'all know how we do it. Y'all been following the show long enough. That's how we get down. For our people on video, on YouTube, on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, all that. Go ahead, come into the room. For our people that's catching us on the audio version, we just gonna give everybody a little time to go on ahead and come in. And while we do that, just a reminder, as always, viewer discretion is advised. These conversations are for your entertainment purposes only. However, we do prefer that you be at least 18. At least 18. We prefer you be over 21, but be at least 18 to watch these shows. Because our opinions are ours alone. And honestly, we don't give a damn what you think. But it's all good, because if you're here, that means you're fucking with me. And if you're fucking with me, I fuck with you. That's how we're going to do this. Now, as we jump off season 5, the Olympics is happening currently. And some things in my personal life, as well as the Olympics, have brought up some things I want to discuss. So normally we have, happy hour with Hendrix. We discuss some random stuff. Week to week, it changes up. Sometimes there's a flow to it. Sometimes there's not. However, jumping off season 5, we're going to do it like this. For the month of August, going to talk about proper planning preventing piss poor performance. Now, a lot of people know what this means. If you happen to be in a fraternal or sorority organization, you know exactly what this means. You also know about excuses, and you also know about Invictus. But we're not going to go there. But what I'm going to tell you is proper planning prevents piss poor performance. And Q got that all wrong. It's proper planning, but proper preparation, that's okay. Proper planning prevents piss poor performance. Y'all know my boy Q. If y'all watching the video version, y'all got to give him some slack, because he be engineering, he be doing a whole bunch of stuff all at one time. So look, if you've never tried to do a podcast on your own, let me tell you, working behind the scenes, it's a booger. It's a bear. So we're going to forgive Q for his typo, but it's proper planning prevents piss poor performance. Now, that's our topic for August, season 5, 2021. Now, of course, we're going to have our beauty of the week. That is going to continue, but we're going to save that to the end of the show. And once we get into the show, you will understand why I'm saving it to the end, right? So what I want to talk about tonight is mental health. So we're going to attack this from a couple of different angles. So like I said, the whole month of August, we're going to talk about proper planning preventing piss poor performance. Now, you look at this, you break it down into a couple of segments: mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And that's how we're going to do it: mentally, spiritually, physically, and emotional. Now, it may change up the order, but those are going to be the topics that we hit on this month. So make sure you catch us. And just a reminder, if you're not catching us live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch, make sure you subscribe. Check us out on the podcast, whatever podcast platform you prefer: Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify. We on them all. It don't matter. Bullhorn. Look, I didn't realize it was so many dang on podcast platforms out there till we started doing this. So whatever your favorite podcast platform is, make sure you click on that subscribe button or follow button or whatever, and make sure you follow us so when we go live, you get your notifications and you can go on ahead and jump in. Now, Tonight's show, mental health. It's a doozy. Hey Jennifer, how's it going, sweetie? How you doing? Mental health and wellness. Now, mental health and wellness, I am not an expert on this at all. What I can do is share with you my experience. Some people battle mental health and they struggle with mental health in different forms. Some people experience depression. My I myself, I can speak on it. I've been depressed. Understand, Jennifer. Jennifer says she's hanging in there. Um, Mental health, depression is a thing that I struggle with. Um, you could look at somebody and think they have the world and think their life is all gravy, and you will have no idea the battle that they are facing. Um, from a person like myself, and again, I'm not an expert. I can only tell you what I've experienced because this is not my field of expertise at all. Now, you want to talk chemistry and science and engineering? I got you. But I'm going to share with you some of my issues and some of the things I've dealt with. So maybe it will help spark somebody to either help themselves or help somebody else. So, like I said, depression. Um, Depression is something I struggle with. It's not fun. And I'm gonna tell you now, when you struggle with depression, everybody else can see and think and believe that you're having the greatest time and your life is just wonderful when inside you are falling to pieces. Now, depression and onset of depression can display itself in a number of different ways. Some people, they withdraw. Some people resort to substance abuse, such as alcohol or other drugs. Some people resort to eating. Now they'll have eating disorders like bulimia, anorexia. Again, I'm not an expert. I don't know it all. Just going high level here. High level. The goal is tonight is to make sure number one, we're able to identify it in ourselves and others. And number two, that we realize that we are not the only ones. Um, so I'm gonna share this with y'all because a lot of people may or may not know, but I have been struggling with a lot lately, probably for the last 2 to 3 months. I know at the end of season 4, I pushed through it. I thought, maybe I'm just tired. I'll just, month of July, we going on a break. I'll be good. I'll bounce back in August. And you set yourself up and you want to stay positive and you're trying to push through. And sometimes you can push through. And um, sometimes you pushing through does not always result in, the best outcome. Sometimes it's making sure that you are aware, number one. Number two, seeking help. And number three, communicating your feelings and your thought processes to those that care about you. Now, from two different perspectives here, we're going to look at it from the perspective of somebody dealing with it and the perspective of somebody trying to help somebody dealing with depression or any other mental illness that they may be experiencing. Again, I can't speak on the other ones. I'm only talking about what I know because it's near and dear to me because I actually physically gone through this and continue to struggle with depression. Most people won't admit it. So if you are a person that is struggling with mental illness, um, be honest with yourself. It's not always easy. It's not always something that's fun to do, but you have to look in the mirror and number one, be honest with yourself. Number two, realize that you're not the only one. You're not, because you can go through situations in life, and I will share a little bit of what's been going on with me. Um, I just been struggling, and there's no if I could pinpoint one issue, If I could pinpoint one issue, it would be very easy to say, okay, this is a problem, fix it, right? Because I have an engineering mindset. I like to solve problems. I like to get to the bottom of it. And I couldn't figure it out. And this is just here recently. I could not figure it out. What in the world is going on with me? I can't. So I was like, you know what? I realized something is wrong with me. I started withdrawing. Um, no substance abuse. Hey, Alicia, sweetie, how you doing? Um, I started, kind of just withdrawing from things I would normally just love to do. Interacting with those that I care about. And what I noticed was that, okay, I am starting to withdraw. Um, I am not being my normal self. And it's funny because even people at work started noticing. They not, dude, what's wrong with you? You okay? It's like I'm doing all my work, getting my work done, hey. Um, and nobody could really, they knew something was going on, but nobody could really put their finger on. I was like, no, I'm fine. But behind the scenes, I'm gonna be honest with you, struggling, still struggling to get past it. Um, but I did recognize the fact that something was not right with me. So the first thing I did was, okay, something's not right. Let me reach out for help. Now I have a therapist. You could get you a psychiatrist, a psychologist. You could do it old school. You could go to the church for altar prayer or one of the deacons. However you decide to deal with it, but be positive with that. Please, please, please do it in a positive manner because what you're dealing with, you're already struggling. You're already struggling, and there's no need to add additional pressure on yourself by, you know, going to substance abuse or acting out in a way that's not typically you. So when I say this again, I'm not throwing shade on anybody, but people act out sometimes. Everybody deals with depression slightly different. So what I want you to know is that what you have to do is stay positive. Understand you're not the only one and you're not the first and you won't be the last. So when you notice yourself transitioning or you're not doing things you used to do, pause and take a long look in the mirror and ask yourself, what's going on? Try and figure it out. If you cannot figure it out, please, please, please reach out for help. There's nothing wrong with reaching out for help. Now, I've said it before, and I will say it again, and I will keep doing it until the last breath in my body. If you're employed, you have a job. Companies have something called the EAP program, Employee Assistance Program, EAP. All you got to do, go to your HR department and ask about it. That is your first step. Ask for help and seek out help because it's not always fun. And sometimes you don't even know what to do. You don't know where to go. Um, I tell people to use the EAP program specifically because they will help guide you to where you need to go, right? They will help you in a way that is non-invasive, it is confidential, and there's nothing to be ashamed about. Now, I know, especially in the Black community and the African American community, we have this whole thing about, oh, you don't need to go see no doctor. You don't need to go do that. What happens in my house stays in our house. Or you have the other one, the other side where it's like, oh, baby, just take it to the Lord in prayer. And you know what? I'm not knocking any of that. However, it doesn't work for everybody. As times change, as generations change, as the world around us changes, old things that used to work may not work so well anymore. Don't believe me? Perfect example right here. Back in the day, they used to have these things on cars called carburetors. Carburetors, they basically control the amount of air to fuel mixture that your engine got, right? So you can adjust the carburetor, make it leaner, you can make it richer, depending on how you want the performance of your car to be. But they came set from the factory certain way, but you could get in there and tune it to just the way you wanted it. However, in the 70s, when we started experiencing gas shortages, they started upgrading because you wanted to, companies and the government wanted to conserve fuel. So what they did was they invented this thing called, ECU, electronic control unit. Basically, it is the computer and the brains of your engine now. So it took away the need for carburetors. And what happened was it actually made fuel efficiency go up. You also were able to get more power. But now, if you came out with a new car today and then you put in a carburetor, people would look at you kind of crazy. However, even with electronically controlled engines, upgraded now to where we don't even have to have engines anymore. They have battery powered cars now. Who'd have thunk it, right? So you went from carburetors to ECUs to now a fully battery operated car that doesn't even need an engine. Not saying that either three will not work. However, depending on your lifestyle, depending on your situation, one of those three may be best for you. And it's up to you to decide what's best for you. But you have to be able to recognize, number one, something's wrong. Number two, be able to reach out. Now, when you're reaching out, please make sure you check your resources. And again, that's why I always tell people to use their EAP program, because it is the best and, to me, one of the most beneficial ways. You're already paying for it. It's a part of, your insurance when you're on a job. It's already included. So why not make use of it? I mean, even if nothing is wrong, if you don't believe anything is wrong, if you're just feeling blah and you can't put your finger on it, reach out. All right. So again, recognize what's wrong. Kind of, had to talk to yourself in the mirror. Reach out. And once you start reaching out, what you will find is that there is a world of resources available to you. Now, there is nothing wrong with what has impacted you. It doesn't have to be a major life changing event. It could be something small. I'm going to tell you my issue, just to share with y'all. Share with y'all my issue. And this is why our MTG Beauty of the Week is so important this week, right? For me, my issue has been a combination of life events and career burnout. Basically getting burnout. I mean, this whole COVID situation has had me stretched, running thin, using my brain power to the fullest day in and day out. And so depending on the person that you get to talk to, they may suggest different things like FMLA, family leave of absence, or, I don't know exactly what it stands for, but everybody knows what I'm talking about. FMLA, family medical leave of absence. So use that, utilize it, and make sure that, again, you're using all of your resources, because we'll pick up the phone and Google something we don't know in a minute. But when it comes to fixing ourselves, it's a little harder. We don't use that phone to just Google. So with that being said, understanding, career burnout, understanding emotional stresses, and understanding the fact that some things happen. This week's MTG Beauty of the Week is no other than Miss Simone Biles. So this young lady, she's in the Olympics, recognized something was going on with her. She pulled out of the competition. She had to get herself together, and mentally recognizing that something was wrong with her. This is not an easy thing to do for a normal person, but you're on a world stage, everybody's watching you, and you're at the Olympics. And this young lady had the courage to stand up and say, no, I need to take care of me first. And I applaud this young lady. And I will tell you this, if you have never experienced depression or any other mental illnesses or struggles, it may or may not make sense. But when she said that she had to pull out because she was mentally unable to perform, I totally got it. Didn't need no other explanation. And you had all this bickering from people, oh, she letting down her team, and oh, she's doing this, and oh, she's doing that. But what you don't realize is that your real team members, your real friends are going to be like, hey, if that's what's best for you, that's what's best for you. Don't care what it's about. Don't care what time it is. The timing could be horrible. But those girls, I'm sorry, those ladies on that team rallied around her. And if they did not have her respect, and if she was not seriously struggling, there is no way that those women would continue to be around her and support her the way they did. Because there's things that happen behind the scenes that you may or may not understand. But when you're on a team, you're in a group, you're in an organization, and those people work with you day in and day out. Those slight changes when you cannot perform to the best of your ability, those people see it. And with that, you all going to take a short little break, and we're going to come back and talk about how to help people. So when you're not on the end and you're seeing somebody struggling, what do you do as that friend, as that counterpart, as that relative, as, that significant other? What do you do? And how can you help? And with that, I'll be right back, y'all. What's up, y'all? It's your boy Hendrix. I'm back after that little short intermission. As y'all can see, for those watching us on video, Q has been playing around with some stuff. So just a reminder that tomorrow night, tune in for MTG After Dark, MTG After Dark with Q and Miss Barbara, not Arbra. She gonna kill me when she see me. With Q and Arbra, not Barbara. Hey, Katie, sweetie, how you doing? So let's get back into it real quick. Cindy, yeah, you're right. It's not easy. You still going through it. Absolutely, sweetie. It's a struggle that never ends. And the sooner you admit to you struggling, the better you're gonna be, because it's a lifelong journey. Some days it's gonna be good, some days not so good. But hey, it's all good. So we're talking about mental health and wellness, right? And it's part of this month's segment about proper planning prevents piss poor performance. Now, as we start season 5, when you start something, you always have to prepare for it. Now, you're going to have struggles, ups and downs, and that's fine. But one of the key things to anybody's success, I don't care who you are, you're always going to have a support system of some kind. Your support system is very, very key and critical. And if you are a person, you're more than likely you're a member of somebody's support system for them. So I need you to make sure that as a person that is dealing with mental health or if you notice somebody is dealing with a mental health issue, some of the things, from my opinion, and again, these are only my opinion, that will help them on their journey, right? Because we can't do this alone. None of us can. It takes all of us working together for all of us to excel and achieve the goals that we wish in life. Now, whatever those goals are, again, your support system is critical. And as a person, you are a member of somebody's support system. So what I need you all to understand is, when you're a person and you notice that somebody around you is being withdrawn, or they're all of a sudden more actively involved, or their behavior changes and it's very, very noticeable, please, please, please don't try and solve the problem. If they are with you and they're opening up to you, you can offer suggestions, and that is great. But please, sometimes it is not your place to solve the problem. Put it to you like this: when you are trying to help somebody, don't browbeat them. Old school mentality. And again, I don't knock old school, but life progresses, times change, people change. Um, Katie talk about overanalyzing and overthinking. We can be our own worst enemies. And see, Katie's absolutely right. That's a part of it. But what we're talking about at this point is, if you're part of somebody's support system, please don't browbeat them. I know old school, you get to talking to grandmothers, great grandmothers, and I don't like to be stereotypical, but everybody out there has heard it. Baby, take it to the Lord in prayer. Let's go to the church house. We'll pray about it. And there's nothing wrong with that. Again, I'm not knocking it, but that doesn't work for everybody. And I'm going to tell you why. Some people, especially my generation and younger, are turned off by the church because of the drama that they've seen in the church. They don't want their business flying around the church, because everybody know, I can't speak on everybody, but I know growing up in the churches I've attended and some of my friends, I'm going to tell you right now, it was people business flying around that I knew their business in hell. I didn't even know who they was. Why you want your business spread around? Hey, I don't need that. No, that's okay. I ain't going to the church. It turns people off from the church. And this is, again, why I recommend the EAP program. Now, again, you're trying to support somebody. Offer suggestions, right? Try 2-3 suggestions, and then after that, stop. Yeah. And Jennifer, I understand you snapping on people because they're trying to support you and they're trying to be helpful, right? And as a person struggling, we also have to understand that, if they're really our friends, if they're really, trying to help us, one thing we have to understand is that their intentions, for the most part, they're well intended. They mean well. However, their execution is piss poor. That's okay, because they don't know. Just like I deal with lupus, and I have so many people that have come to me and said, "Oh, all you have to do is do this. Oh, all you have to do is do this, and you'll be fine." Then they'll come back, "Oh, you still struggling with that? Oh, I thought that was over." No, lupus, mental health, ongoing forever. You're gonna have good days and you're gonna have bad days. And if you don't understand it, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But if somebody has opened up to you, please do this. Check on them. You don't have to have no long conversation with them. If they want to open up and talk to you, okay, fine, allow it. If they want to shut down for a little bit, okay, fine. Let them shut down for a little bit, but make sure that they're not shutting down to the point where they completely withdraw. If they are going, shimmy, you're right. People do that with diabetes. Absolutely. Understand it. If people are going through something, as a support system, your role is to be there to help, right? Well, hey, what have you tried? What's worked? Do you have any ideas? Have you reached out for help? Is there anything I can do to help? That's how you help. Because I'm going to tell you right now, when they get to the point of ready to talk to you or reach out, they're going to reach out. Jennifer's absolutely right. Jennifer, again, cancer. That's another issue. And people don't get it. You've never experienced it. You've never walked that path. And so trust me, I get it. You're not going to understand what to do. Because when I first got diagnosed with lupus, I'll tell you right now, they had a support group that my doctor told me about. I'm like, okay, I tried. Went to this support group. It was a bunch of women talking about their menstrual cycles. I was the only guy in there. And after about 10 minutes, I was like, you know what? I'm done. Did a little research, found a male support group on Facebook, and it's actually working well for me. May not work well for everybody, but hey, for me, it actually works well. But when it comes to dealing with mental health, what I need everybody to understand is that you can make sure that somebody's okay without browbeating. Just reach out. Ask them, hey, are you okay? Is there anything you need? Have you tried, one suggestion? That's it. Make one suggestion. That's it. After that, well, what else have you tried? How else have you been doing? What else can you help me understand? And they'll try to explain it. And if they cannot explain it to you, please don't be impatient with them, because explaining what's going on in your head, it's very hard to do for some people. My teachers used to ask me, how was I so good in math and not use a calculator? And I remember in the 5th grade, and this is, I'm over 40 now. I remember in the 5th grade, my teacher asked me, how you so good with numbers? How you doing all this work, getting the answers right, and you're not using a calculator? And I explained to her, I was like, well, the numbers do something weird in my head and they jump around and fall into place. And she looked at me and was like, really? She's like, well, sweetie, I don't understand that. But what I do know is that you're good at what you do, but I'm going to need you to show your work. She took that same conversation that I had and then went and talked to my parents and were like, and she told them, you need to enroll this child in some advanced courses. Because he explained to me that numbers jump around in his head and he can't explain it. It's just they fall into place. This is something that we need to explore a little more. And that's how she helped. 5th grade teacher. I wish I could remember her name. I know exactly what she looked like. Cannot remember that lady's name for nothing. But I remember what she looked like, and it's crazy. So when you're being a support system, don't browbeat them. Be just that. Check on them. Don't check on them every single day, because they're going to get annoyed with your ass. And then they're going to block you. I'm be honest with you. If you're used to talking to them, once a month, okay, fine. Then double it up. Check on them every other week. Hey, I'm just checking on you. Hey, man, I ain't heard from you. Hey, girl, I ain't heard from you. Just checking on you. Do that. Step it up a little bit, but don't overdo it. Because that little bit of extra that you do, effort that you do put forth, they will recognize it and they will appreciate it. It will let them know that they're not alone. Now, you have some people like myself. I withdraw, but that's just me. But I will say this. Allow that person to walk that path their way. Be there for them. Yes, reach out. Yes, make sure they're okay. Yes, don't get upset with them when, oh, you didn't return my calls, you didn't return my texts. Don't do that. Don't, because that will push you further away from them. Allow them to come out of it themselves. Allow them to explore and understand your role as a support system is to make sure that they are okay, and ask them hey, is there anything I can help you with? What can I do to make it? Hey, if there's nothing I can do, if you can't think of anything, well, you know what? Make sure you got my number. You call me, no matter what time of day it is, I will pick up and we can talk through whatever. That's how you be a support system for somebody. That's how you help them come out of it. Because I'm going to guarantee you this. Every person outside their family has at least 3 friends. They may not consider them friends. They may have different terminology, but there's at least 3 people outside of their family that they can call on and be like, hey, I need your help. And if that person calls you and reaches out, understand it's critical. It is very critical. So with that being said, you all, I'm going to call it a night, but just remember this. Proper planning prevents piss poor performance. We're going to make season 5 great. We're going to get our mental health together, spiritual, physical, and emotional. That's what we're going to cover in August, right? We're going to cover those topics to help somebody else, because I know I'm not the only one struggling, and I know this whole COVID situation has got people pulling their hair out, rules changing, you got people throwing tantrums, and it's all good. Jennifer, sweetie, I don't know if we want to be giving people numbers out like that. So we're gonna take that down. I don't know. Hit Q up offline, and we can talk about that. We maybe can get something else in the rotation or something. But for everybody watching again, this month with Happy Hour with Hendrix, we're gonna focus on proper planning, preventing piss poor performance. Because if we plan it, we can do it. We can execute it. No matter what you're going through, you have to be right mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. With that being said, you all, I am out. Welcome to season 5. We're going to turn it out like we always do. And you all have a good evening. Take it easy. Peace.
Thank you.